WTIM Morning Show. I'm your host, Avery Cooper. Your stream sponsored by People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. I'm here in studio with President of the Taylorville Ministerial Association, Pastor Curtis Franks. Welcome to the program, Pastor Franks.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here on the WTIM Morning Show. So tell me, what does the Taylorville Ministerial Association do in kind of a synopsis?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you real quickly what we
ahead.
do not do.
All right, there we go.
A lot of people think it's Taylorville Ministerial Association. So they assume it's just a bunch of preachers sitting around eating donuts and drinking coffee and talking about their congregants. But that ain't what we do. We do a lot in our community. We want to share the light of Christ in every way we can. So Taylorville Ministerial Association is involved in several things. It's several different entities that work together as one. Okay. And so we have the food pantry that is very popular and much needed. Just to hit that really quickly, they are open for operation every Tuesday morning at 8:30 to 10, Thursday evenings 5:30 to 7, and Saturday mornings 8:30 to 9, or excuse me, 8:30 to 9:30. And they have increased majorly during the past year or so with the help that they have given to the community, and drove by there this morning and they were packed out. So it is a major need, and they do a lot of wonderful things for the community there. Also, the community garden, I don't know if anyone's familiar with that, but that actually, if you drove by Davis Memorial, would see a garden right in there, and they help with the food pantry as well. The bell ringing. I don't know if you've seen a lot of the bell ringers on December and around the Salvation Army. You see the Salvation Army sign, you think, oh, that's Salvation Army. Well, it's not always Salvation Army. So we do a lot of that, and maybe we can highlight some of this stuff later. But to briefly go through, that is a part of it. Taylorville voucher program's a part of it. And again, we can talk more about this stuff later. Missions for Taylorville, a lot of people know what that is. Community work days coming up for that, by the way. And Safe Passage. A lot of people know somewhat about Safe Passage, but don't realize that is also a part of the Taylorville Ministerial Association. So we're involved in several things.
Awesome. So many things that I would have had no idea that the Ministerial Association is involved in. How specifically does the Ministerial Association help the food pantry?
Well, to my knowledge, the history of the food pantry started several years ago. I was barely thought of at the time when it started, and a group of preachers came together, a group of churches in the community, and that's something we need today. Is not just my church or your church, but the church should work together, and that's kind of what happened then. And they started this pantry in a closet. And from there, it grew and became what it is today.
I see. So really, the food pantry and the Ministerial Association have always gone hand in hand.
Yes, sir. Always.
Okay.
So from the beginning, yes.
Yeah. Now, gosh, so many different things that Ministerial Association is. I can't remember it all. So tell me, I think the thing that stuck out the most is the fact that you're involved in Safe Passage.
Yes.
Tell me how that works for you guys.
Okay. So Safe Passage is kind of like they're under our umbrella. We just kind of encourage them. We help them every way they can. They help us every way we can. For instance, if people are not aware of what All Safe Passage does, they do so much for the individuals in our community.
Yeah, could you provide a quick overview of what Safe Passage is?
Yeah, Safe Passage is a no questions asked program through the police department and through Taylorville Ministerial Association, where if you have an addiction to whether that be drugs, alcohol, or even other things, you can go to them. They won't ask you, hey, where are you getting your substance from? They won't ask you any questions like that. They will talk to you about the program. Then they have the funds to send you to rehab, and they go beyond that. They go from rehab to putting you in a place where you continue to recover, and those type of things. There's a lot of need there. They do have some funding, but there's always more funding needed. They need drivers for people to drop people off at these facilities where they can get the help they need. And since that program started, which is not very long ago, crime, if I'm not mistaken, theft in particular has went down in Taylorville 40 or maybe even 45%. And that is a huge thing.
Theft too, not just drug use, which is interesting because it, without actually knowing exactly, tells me that there are less people trying to steal for their habit.
Yes.
Is what it tells me without actually looking at it.
Yes, that's what I believe is
Right.
Yes.
And that's incredible. 40%.
40%. That's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, huge.
And that's just over the time that safe passage has been around. I mean, you can extrapolate that into the next decade or whatever. Can you imagine?
Oh my goodness. It can increase,
Yeah.
the 50 or 60 or who knows.
Right. Yeah. And that's the hope. That is the hope.
That is the hope.
Yeah. So tell me, what is your involvement like for missions with Missions for Taylorville?
Well, I guess they made a mistake, I guess, and elected me as the president. But no, in a sense, I kind of oversee, listen to all these other entities that we work together. For instance, we meet monthly, talk about, give our reports. This is what's going on. This is our need. This is how we can further help our community. What can we do to get to this point? And so we all discuss that. Communication is a big part of it, kind of like what I'm doing today.
Right.
Communicating and letting our community know we're there, and just able to help, just being that light.
Yeah. Really quickly, to provide an overview of, I'm sure most people know, but what is Missions for Taylorville?
Missions for Taylorville, basically that is a one group of people that have several different ways of ministry. People think ministry, you think preaching or teaching and that kind of thing, but in reality, ministry is far more than just preaching or teaching. Jesus even said in Matthew 25 that he tells a story and he talks to the people there and he tells them, if I was hungry, you fed me. I was thirsty and you gave me a drink. I was a stranger without a home and you gave me shelter. And I was in prison and you visited me. And they said, when did we see you do this? When did we see you a prisoner and visit you? When did we see you, Jesus, hungry? And he said, when you've done it to the least of my people, you've done that to me. And that's kind of our vision, is to help people. You never know when you may need help. So I think it's encouraging. It's what the church should be in 2022.
And that is Missions for Taylorville. Now, gosh, many different.
Let me just say, Missions for Taylorville, specifically Missions for Taylorville, is huge on helping homeowners with repair, like tornado recovery. Now, the tornado recovery, we've been doing that since the tornado a couple of years ago and have done a tremendous job. A majority, to my knowledge, of the work that got done and to homeowners in our town was from Missions from Taylorville. Now, they do a lot of that stuff. Awesome. Let's just say someone goes to the hospital, gets sick, they come out, they need a ramp because now they can no longer walk. Missions for Taylorville will do stuff like that, clean up homes of people that cannot physically do that. We do those things, and we have applications for the homeowners and applications for volunteers. We need volunteers for that, people that have a construction experience, painting experience, or just want to help labor and clean or whatever the case may be. I know there is a work day scheduled for June. It's a Saturday in June. I have it here. That will be June the 11th, Saturday, and then a later work day in the fall. So there's a lot of that stuff. And you can get more information on that if you want to contact Dennis Mixer at 254-5027, or you can even contact Davis Memorial. They have some information there. But most of the churches around here have those applications. So you can go to any church, your local assembly, or whatever.
I want to talk a little bit more about what the Taylorville Ministerial Association blankets, but got to take a quick break here.
Yes.
So let me reintroduce you. That is the president of the Taylorville Ministerial Association, Pastor Curtis Franks. I'm your host, Avery Cooper. Your stream co-sponsored by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. Welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show. I'm your host, Avery Cooper. Landmark of Taylorville is a proud sponsor of your stream. You always do better with Landmark, along with People's Bank and Trust. They put people first. I'm here in studio with the president of Taylorville Ministerial Association, Pastor Curtis Franks, talking about all the things that fit underneath the umbrella of the Taylorville Ministerial Association. You know, Pastor Franks, one of the things you told me about that kind of gets confused a little bit is the bell ringing in the Salvation Army, but you guys are also pretty involved in that too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And that is something that truly is very misunderstood. You know, during the end of November, after Thanksgiving, during the holiday season, you'll see people out to Walmart and you'll see people at Kroger and different places ringing that bell. And, you know, you think, well, that's not for our community, that's for Salvation Army. But you know what people don't realize is that money, 85%, and that's a huge percentage, 85% of that money that is given stays in Taylorville to help in just aiding homeowners that need assistance, all the other things that we are a part of. Food pantry benefits from that. The community garden perhaps benefits from that. And the voucher program also truly benefits from that. I don't know if you've heard of CEFS
A little bit.
in our community. They are not officially under our umbrella, but we work with them as well, and we have helped them as well to help others
Partners.
with that 85% of salvation money. So when you see those people ringing that bell in the cold, horrible cold weather sometimes, man, smile at them. If you don't have money to give, smile at them, because they're trying to help people you know.
Maybe even give them a handshake or something.
Maybe even give them a handshake for sure. And that's another thing we've involved this past year. See, COVID kind of messed everything up a little bit, but this year we were back at it again. And what was great is you're seeing progress in these things, and with the bell ringing, we've brought in others. I know the high school helped out in bell ringing, and that was never done before. I know another student group came and helped do that. Other churches, it was great to see churches that aren't even involved in the Taylorville Ministerial Association say, hey, you know what? We'll ring some bells. We know it helps our community. And so that was very encouraging.
Tell me about the Ministerial Association's involvement with the voucher program.
Now, the voucher program, that is something that is very needed and helpful in our community. And, you know, there's a lot of need that people don't realize in our community. A lot of people that are without a home for a short period of time, for whatever the case may be. And there's a lot of, you know, things happen in our world, a lot of domestic issues that take place. And with that voucher program, several of our churches have these vouchers. And let's say someone needs a place to stay. They are currently without a home, like Jesus said in Matthew 25, hey, I had no shelter and you took me in. And so that's kind of what this is. And we sign a voucher for them and their family or whatever, and they stay at the hotel or whatever, and try to help them there. That also has a gas aid to help them with gasoline if they need that. And so it is very helpful, and we use that often. We use it more than we probably should, and we have to pull from our own finances because people don't realize the need there. So that's another thing people in our community could give to, and it would tremendously help.
Is the Ministerial Association like the sole overseer of the voucher program?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that.
So that is our focus point, and so yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and so, I mean, you just told me, though, that sometimes pastors will take out of their own finances to kind of contribute to this voucher program. I mean, that can't be easy.
It's not always easy, that's for sure. And I will say there are times in the year, it happened 3 times last year, if I remember correctly, maybe even 4, that we had to pause that for a couple of weeks because the funding wasn't there. And so, I mean, it helps with so much. I mean, and again, that works along with the food pantry, because a lot of these folks that are in need, they don't only need a place to stay, but they also need food. And so we can help with that. And these vouchers help out with that too.
That begs the question, are you accepting donations for the voucher program?
Absolutely. We're always accepting donations for that. That's one of the things that you can't really participate physically in, but you truly can financially. And you will, by no matter what you give. If you give to that, you're helping someone get out of the cold, out of the rain. You're helping. Just this past week, and we don't give names, we will never do that, but there was a lady who had a very bad situation happen. And I met with her, and she has 2 little girls. And, CEFS was working with her as well. And from that, we were able to help her. She's getting stable. Now she's moving forward, getting a job, doing what she needs to do now that she's on her own with her 2 little girls.
That's an excellent story. Now, only about a minute here, Pastor Franks. Any final message that you'd like to let everyone know about?
Well, I will say that if you have any questions, how can I help? What can I do? Whether that be with Missions for Taylorville, you want to help paint someone's house, or you want to help build a ramp to help someone that's having issues, or whatever. If you want to help financially, or even volunteer at the food pantry, they always need help there as well. Then you can call. I'm going to give you my church number, because I can give you the people I can connect you who you need to be connected with. That would be 217-287-1041 at Crossroads Church. You can call me anytime.
That is Taylorville Ministerial Association President, Pastor Curtis Franks on the WTIM Morning Show. Thank you so much for coming on here, Pastor Franks.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Landmark of Taylorville brings you the stream. You always do better with Landmark, along with People's Bank and Trust. They put people first.